Thanks for joining us here on this Saturday. Jen always puts on a great event, and I'll like this just second what she said is a lot of great stuff you can learn from this event here. Obviously, you just heard from Hubert and Micah, and the rest of the gang here. Really, just all really good stuff. So I would certainly encourage you to listen to this. But for me, my name is Serge Berger, the founder of thesteadytrader.com. What I do is I predominantly help traders and investors reach a level of consistent profitability. So I think consistency is ultimately what's the most important thing to be able to get to in the market, right? How many of you have done this thing where you have like 5 trades that are winners, and then you have 1 or 2 that wipes out all those gains? Who's ever done that before? Type in yes. And by the way, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Like, that's just what most people do, you know? And so I'm going to show you how to cure that here today. So the number one reason why people don't make money for the most part is because I think people make it too complicated. So today what I'm going to show you is a highly profitable 3-pronged trading approach that has not only made me a lot of money over the years, but has also already allowed many hundreds of traders just like you to live a life of financial freedom by reaching that profitability. So kind of like the way I explain this is, how would you like to be able to get up in the morning and not care which direction the market is heading, because, well, you have a simple, trustworthy, and repeatable process that's going to consistently keep you on the right side of the market. Furthermore, how would you like to be able to do this from, say, your beachside hotel room or your slopeside hotel room in the mountains? It doesn't really matter where you do this. And I'm not into this whole lifestyle marketing kind of thing necessarily, but I think the point is, if you have a repeatable process, you really actually can have an amazing lifestyle in this business. And financial freedom is one of those things that a lot of traders and people in the financial space aspire to. I know my 3-pronged trading approach has allowed me to live a wonderful lifestyle like that, and I know it has already allowed a lot of other people, my clients, to do that as well. So I'm going to show you guys how this works. Just a couple words on myself. I originally come from more of the institutional side of things, meaning that I worked at places like JP Morgan, hedge funds, family office, things like that. And what that's allowed me to do is see how some of the very best traders in the world actually make money, the strategies they deploy. And so what I'm going to show you guys today is not only something that I developed at one of those shops, but also it's the whole process that I've learned there and use for my clients now. So having said that, keeping it simple, right? I think most traders and investors just make things too complicated. And the way they do that is by looking at too many conflicting data points. So the key to all this is to be able to eliminate the noise. Who in here thinks there's too much information out there to digest on a daily basis, right? Between news and market action and a lot of it conflicting news, it gets very confusing. So what you need is a process, and to me it's quite amazing that this is literally not being taught. Like, if you look into the financial education, there's always a chart pattern or something, but there's really not a process to it. And I think that's really ultimately going to be what makes you successful. So if I look at the professional traders that I've worked with my whole career, there's one real difference between them and the retail community, and that is they don't make it complicated, and they only focus on 1 or 2 types of setups, if you will. And so the question is, if that's all they do, look for 1 or 2 types of setups, whether that's a chart pattern or a fundamental thing, why is the retail community trying to become a jack of all trades? So the 2 very best traders I know, they really only focus on literally 1 type of setup, but they're amazingly good at those setups. So I think, and I'm very convinced about this, the key to success in this business is to become an absolute expert at 1 type of setup, and then you look for that setup across the universe of, say, stocks or indices or other asset classes, if you like. So institutional traders have a simple, repeatable process, and what I'm going to show you guys today is a highly effective, repeatable 3-pronged trading process. I know everyone can do this, and I'm going to make a very big claim here today. I think by the time we're done here with the next 45 minutes or so, it'll literally have changed the way that you look at financial markets. And that's a big claim, but I'm convinced that for a lot of you, if not most of you, that's going to be the case, which is a good thing. So the agenda today. What we're going to do is I'm going to explain to you why identifying investor mood or emotions is critical to success as a trader and investor. And then I'm going to show you how to consistently find the highest probability points to buy any given stock, index, commodity, or currency, or options if you want to play it that way. And then we'll tie all this together and give you the blueprint to this amazing three-pronged trading approach. And I'll also, of course, show you our proprietary process of tool to actually find this very specific setup in a very repeatable and simple manner. So candlesticks, who in here has ever used candlesticks? Anyone ever used them, liked them? What's the consensus here? Who uses candlesticks? Type in yes. Oh, a lot of people. Okay, great. Now, whether you have or not doesn't really matter. The point is there are way too many candlestick patterns out there. I don't know if you guys have probably noticed that. Way too many candlesticks pattern out there, right? It gets very confusing, right? Am I right? So what I have found over the past 21 years as a trader and investor in the professional circuit is there's really only a couple of them that actually work consistently and show up frequently enough to care. So shockingly, I just use the most profitable ones. So that's number one. Otherwise, you want to focus on the ones that actually work. Now, I'm going to give you a real quick introduction to candlesticks if you don't know them. If you do know them, this will be a good overview. But I'm going to promise you one thing. The way we look at this is very, very different from what you've probably been taught or seen before. So it'll certainly be interesting for all of you to listen to this. So basically, when you look at a candlestick, you look at a trading day in any time frame, really, right? And you can either have an up day or a down day. So let's start off with this candlestick here, the black one. You can see the day opened here for trading, and then the stock, let's assume it's a stock, it closed down here. But on an intraday basis, the stock rallied as high as up here or fell as low as down here, right? So you have this these four reference points, and the same thing on an up day. This is where the stock opened trading for the day. This is where it closed, and again, an intraday range that extended up here and down here. And I'll say this, candlesticks, by the way, can be used in any time frame. And I'll show you guys this shortly. You can use this for day trading, for swing trading, for longer term investing, and in any asset class. And I'll show it to you, I'll prove it to you. We'll go into the live market and I'll ask you guys to give me tickers in a bit. So you can see that I'm not cherry picking here. Now, for the most part, for the sort of showing you how the strategy works, we're going to first focus on stocks and the daily time frame, just to make sure we don't have to jump around too much. But we'll focus on other asset classes and also different time frames a little bit later on, so you guys can see that this works in all time frames and in all asset classes. So you have this 4-point relationship between the daily open, close, high, and low, and the close of that candle to me is by far the most important thing. Having said that, one of the great things about candlesticks is that they're very visual. So there's various academic studies out there that tell us that about 60% of people have an easier time learning stuff by looking at things as a series of pictures. In fact, I've done my own proprietary surveys on this with our client base, and I actually think this number is closer to 80 to 85%. So the vast majority of people have an easier time learning stuff by looking at them looking at stuff as a series of pictures. And that's really why candlesticks and charts are, if you know how to use them, and which I'll show you here, make things so much easier for traders and investors. Now, the benefits of the candle, obviously a candlestick is much more visual than a bar chart or a line chart. It clearly represents the price action, but really, and this is one of the most important things you learn here all day on my presentation, is the way we look at this, and this is unbelievably important, like I said, what the candlesticks do is they display investor sentiment and investor mood, all right? I'm gonna repeat this many times throughout the presentation, because if you can start learning to look at candlesticks and see what that tells us about investor mood and psychology, in other words, if you had a system or an approach, I'm gonna call it, that allowed you to look at when the market is extremely overbought or oversold, when investors are all in one side of the boat, okay, and all you have to do is then do the opposite, because that's how you're gonna make money. Do you think that would be a high probability way of trading? Of course, and that's exactly what we're going to look at here with candlesticks. So let's continue. with the candlestick analogy. So, one of the main reasons why candlesticks work so well is because the formations are easy to spot once you've trained your eyes just a little bit. It's all about decision making without emotions. And I think, again, it's about being able to take out the emotions of trading and investing that makes the difference between the professional investors that actually make money and those people who are just kind of clicking around the market and basically gambling. And we don't want to do that. It's all about having defined risk and clear stops. And it's very much like this person here on this cliff. You can see this person, she has a very defined point of basically no return, right? Her risk goes from like 0 to 100% right here. If she oversteps it here, she's done. And it's exactly the same thing using candlesticks, the way we're going to show you here. You know exactly where to get in and also where to get out. And that's invaluable if you really think about it. So let's look at a couple types of candlesticks so you guys can get your head around this, and then we'll show you how this pattern works and how you too can make consistent money from this by having a process for your trading and investing. So like I said before, too many candlesticks out there to learn them all. Weird names, maybe funny names, but this is not about being funny. This is about making money in the market. So let's look at this hammer candle up here. It's by the way, these are all the same things. I know some people make a big difference by the little differences. I'm telling you, for the most part, these are all the same thing. So let's look at the hammer candle up here, the number one. Let's assume this was a stock and the stock had been dropping for the past few weeks, maybe the past few months. It doesn't matter. In other words, the bears, the sellers had been in charge. Well, the sellers came into this day here. They opened the stock for trading here. And then the stock fell all the way down here. Something happened though within that day, and the market rallied back very strongly, so much so that it actually closed at the very upper end of the day's trading range. All right. Now there's two ways of looking at this. You can look at this through the lens of what I call financial television. What you hear a lot is those guys say things like, "We're off the lows, Joe. Back to you." And there's nothing incorrect about that statement. It certainly, as you can see, the market rallied off the lows, but it dramatically understates what actually happened. What really did happen is that the sellers, the bears who'd been in charge for the past few weeks, they tried very hard to push the market lower one more time, but they basically met their match, right? There was no more sellers left down here. Why? How do we know that? Well, the market failed to stay down. So when you reach this point here, it's the maximum point of bearishness. If there are no more sellers left in this time frame, folks, if there are no more sellers left, and you can visibly see that that's the case, what is just about the only thing the market has to do? Who can tell me that? If there's no more sellers left, right? You can visibly, you don't need a phone call from Goldman Sachs to tell you that. What must happen to this stock? Who can tell me that? Yeah, exactly. It basically has to go higher, or at least go sideways at the very, very least, right? Now I ask you, if you had an approach that would help you find these extremities where there's no more sellers left, right? Do you think you could make money? Ask yourself that. Let's look at another pattern. It's called an engulfing pattern. In this case, the name is actually kind of matching, but again, the name doesn't really matter. It's really about the investor psychology behind these things. So here we had a trend to the upside. A stock, let's say, for the past few weeks, months, whatever, was rallying. Bulls were in charge, and they managed to gap the stock higher one more time. So on this day, the stock started trading up here. Again, after, let's say, it's having risen for the past few days, weeks, months, whatever. Well, something happened intraday, and the stock sharply turned lower, so much so that it closed lower on the day towards the low end of the trading range of the day. And again, we go back to the financial television analogy. What will it tell you in financial TV? Oh, we're off the highs, Joe. Back to you. And again, that's not incorrect. The trouble is that it dramatically understates what happened. The bulls have been in charge for the past few days, weeks. They tried very hard to push this market higher one more time, but up here they failed. And again, you don't need a phone call from Goldman Sachs. You can visibly see it. There's a dramatic shift in price action here, meaning the bulls, the buyers have met their match. There were no more buyers left. Okay. And again, I ask you, what happens when there's no more buyers left? What must the stock do? Who can tell me that? Exactly. It must go lower, or at the very least, sideways. Most likely it'll go lower. Yeah. So again, if you had an approach that will tell you when there's no more buyers left, or inversely when there's no more sellers left and all you have to do is do the opposite, do you think you could make money? And I'm going to show you not only how this works, but I'm going to prove to you that it works in just a few minutes. I'm going to ask you guys to type in ticker symbol so you can see that it works. So you can see I'm not cherry picking, and I'll show you actual real life example happening right now. Let's go through a few examples though, so to kind of show you how this works in practice, and then we'll go into the live charts in a bit. So in this case, we're looking at the S&P 500, and you can see there was a sharp drop off, but at some point the sellers got exhausted. Now, again, you didn't need 1,000 algorithms or all sorts of complicated analysis to see that at some point here the sellers got very exhausted. How do we see that? Because for 2 days in a row, the market tried to stay lower, right? But intraday it rallied back very strongly. And ultimately we had, and this is one of the most important things that I can teach you, we had this something called follow through buying day. That's this third day here. Now, after failing to stay down for 2 days in a row, the follow through buying day basically allowed the shorts to capitulate and the early buyers, the smart money for the most part, to come back in. And again, you can see the rest is history. So again, I ask you, if you had a way to consistently find when sellers reach extremes, when there's no more sellers left, do you think you could make money? Because all you have to do is buy, all right? And I'll show you guys in a minute how we do that. It's very, very simple. Another example here would be in, this is an ETF or an index. It covers banking stocks. It's a BKX. I would strongly encourage everyone to look at this one. It's a very, very important index to follow. But very similar to the example we just looked at in the S&P, we had a situation here where the stock dropped very sharply, kind of just went sideways then for a while. But at some point here, the sellers or the bears, again, who had been in charge for some time, they tried very hard to push this market lower one more time. They really tried to push it below those lows here. But you can see there were no more sellers left. I mean, the sellers who tried here failed miserably. Follow through buying day, and the rest was history, right? So again, I tell you, if you could have an approach that could exactly tell you when the buyers are exhausted, or in this case, the sellers are exhausted, and there's no more sellers left, and all you have to do is do the opposite, do you think you can make money? I think you can. In fact, I know you can. Let's look at another example here in GLD. This is an ETF representing the price of gold. You can see nice rally here for those few months here and then into the last few weeks. And the buyers here tried very hard to push the price of gold higher one more time on this day. You can see where the blue arrow is pointing to, and they tried to push it back up here towards maybe those highs. But as that happened, at some point intraday, the market got rejected. The buyers got rejected because there was no more buyers left, right? So you don't need 1,000 indicators to tell you that there is no more buying pressure left. The market reversed lower completely, right? Giving us this engulfing pattern, follow through selling the next day, and the rest is history. Massive profits, right? And again, you don't need to make this overly complicated. You can visibly see that there were no more buyers left. Who can see that? Type in yes if you can see that. Now again, the important thing about this is that you have a process. Because without process, with just a randomly clicking around the market, this isn't going to work. And this is really what I practice and preach every single day, is that you need to have a process. I'm going to skip this example here in the interest of time because I prefer to go to the live charts. So we're going to go through the live charts here in just a few minutes, and I'll ask you guys to type in tickers in just a couple of minutes. So hold on just another few minutes. I want to first teach you what the process is to this. So I'm a big believer, having grown up in Wall Street and hedge funds and family office, that kind of thing. I'm a big believer in being able, in order to make money in the markets, you do need to have a bit of an idea of where we are in the economic environment. Like, I think you need to have an idea of where the broad structure of the market is. Like a lot of times that has to do with basically understanding monetary policy a little bit. Are interest rates rising or lower or dropping? Right now, you guys know, obviously, or I'm hoping you've noticed that interest rates are now basically going to start declining again in the United States, globally, particularly in Europe and elsewhere. They've been under pressure. This is an important thing to understand. because based on those cycles where the interest rates are going higher or lower, you'll then have a universe of stocks or indices or other asset classes that will tend to do well or not so well, right? And then based on that, once you have that set of stocks or indices, then you go ahead and you look for those strong bullish and bearish reversals that I just showed you. Now, here's the good news. You can actually reverse engineer this entire process, and you can just start with step 3. And this is, again, this is what makes this different, what we do. It's process oriented. Most people will just glance at a chart and make a decision without process and no perspective. Unless you have process and perspective, I promise you, you will never become a successful, a profitable trader and investor. Anything in life that you're going to be good at, whether that's cooking or getting buff at the gym, there's a process and a strict sort of regime you have to stick to. It's the same thing in the stock market. So without a process and a willingness and ability to constantly gain perspective in the market, you can't make it. But the good thing about this here is that you can actually just look for strong bullish, bearish reversals, and then make sure those reversals fit into the universe of stocks that were basically representative of the current market environment. So you guys remember the S&P 500 chart I showed you a couple of minutes ago? Well, let's apply the step 1, 2, 3 process I just showed you. The point in time I showed you guys a few minutes ago was right here. You guys see that? This was actually a point in time where the index pulled back to a longer term trend line. Now, at the time, what happened is that the economy was still growing very nicely and everything was good. And I remember getting a lot of phone calls, text messages, Skype messages from our clients around the world asking me, sir, is it time to sell? And I said, you know what? From the broad market structure, it isn't yet at the time. Step 2, from a technical perspective, we're just pulling back to a major long trend line. And step 3, I said, you know what, let's wait for the week to end and see if we get a bullish reversal. Sure enough, by the end of the week, we had a strong bullish reversal. Sellers exhausted themselves, and we gave the buy signal to everyone to go ahead and get long, and it was happy days. I'm not saying this to stand on a soapbox, but I'm trying to say this because if you have a process, you can make a lot of money in the markets at any given point, right? It's no miracle, but you need a process. Remember the chart before in this banking index, this ETF KBW bank index, BKX was a ticker? The point in time I showed you guys before was right here. Step 1, what happened at this point? Why did banking stocks bounce? At the point in time they bounced because the Fed at that point in time was about to raise interest rates. Okay, what happens when the Fed raises interest rates or is about to? Banking stocks tend to do rather well. Step number 2, you can see the technicals, right? We just came into a major area of technical horizontal support. Who can see that? You guys can see that? And then thirdly, obviously, we had a huge bullish reversal. Sellers got exhausted dramatically, also on the weekly chart here, and happy days, we went higher. Yeah, so very, very simple and straightforward. Now, I'm going to give you guys something right now. I'm going to teach you something in like 30 seconds that, honest to God, took me probably 11 years to learn. And I want you guys to I promise you this is going to make a huge difference in your trading and investing. Don't do the following. I really mean it. It took me 11 years to learn. I'm going to teach you in 30 seconds right now, and it will literally change your P&L overnight if you start doing this. So number 1, don't do the following, because most people do this, and most people lose money. What most people do, and you can ask yourself if you do this, they focus on 3 or 4 stocks, or 1 or 2 currency pairs, or 1 or 2 futures pairs, and then take every single signal that they get. And you don't have to raise your hands if you do that or not. We know most people do this, and it's one of the reasons why they fail. And here's why, okay? The reality is that unless you start to learn to look for real high probability signals, I'm not talking about some 50-50 coin flip business. I'm talking about 80, 90% probability trade setups. Unless you start to learn to do that, you're not going to make money. And the reality is that those really high trading setups, high probability trading setups, they are not going to show up in the same stock, currency, index, commodity, future contract, whatever, every single day. They will not. I can promise you that. All right? This is a fact. Now, if you do this, you need to stop doing this. What you need to do is learn a pattern, which I'm going to show you guys in a minute, And then you look for that pattern across the universe of stocks and maybe even other asset classes if you wish. There's plenty of stocks to do this with ETFs, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Now, this is a very low probability strategy, only focused on a few stocks or ETFs or currencies. And again, I cannot tell you how unbelievably important this is. Take it from me, I've done this my whole life, worked on investment banking, trading desks my whole life. This will make a difference, will make the difference if you stop doing this. Instead, what you need to do is you need to look at the world as your oyster. Like I just said, you need to find a high probability strategy signal like the bullish bearish reversal that I showed you, and I'm going to show you a ton here in the next few minutes. And then you look for that signal across the universe of stocks or commodities or currencies. And to prove this to you, think about this. One of the reasons why hedge funds are set up the way that they are, meaning that they can buy anything or sell short anything, meaning stocks, currencies, commodities, whatever, is because they understand this very fact. They understand that they're not going to get the greatest buy or sell opportunity in just an S&P 500 chart every single day. They're going to get an amazing ability, a trade setup every day somewhere, but it's not going to be in the same stock. If all you do is try to day trade Apple or Amazon or whatever, and that's all you're looking for, you're looking at an incredibly narrow window of opportunity. You ultimately, in my opinion, have almost no chance of making money. There's amazing probability, amazing amount of high probability trades out there every single day, but it will not show up on the same chart. Who can understand that? Type in yes. And who thinks that that's valuable, it makes sense? I urge you to stop doing that and start looking at a pattern, a process that I just showed you here, and apply it across the universe of stocks. Okay, good. Getting a lot of yeses. Perfect. All right. Now, having said that, what I want to do next is quickly summarize the strong bullish and bearish reversals before we go into the live market. And this is now where it gets really, really interesting, because I'm going to show you not only obviously how it works, but that it works, because I'm all about being able to prove this to you. So again, strong bullish and bearish reversals. The bullish reversal happens where sellers get exhausted, and the bearish reversal happens where buyers get exhausted. So where the last of the buyers buy, or where the last of the sellers sell. But what's important is you need price confirmation. I think this is the highest probability spot to buy or sell a stock, index, commodity, option, whatever, but you need that confirmation, and we'll show you guys this right now. Now, when I used to work on trading desks, on investment banks and things like that, we had people come in probably, I don't know, once a week, and they showed us their signals and their tools and things like that. And I never found anything that actually looked good and worked consistently. But one day, and I was working at JP Morgan at the time, I turned to one of my friends, and I said, you know what? I think we can program something here. And it took us 4.5 years, but what we ended up with is being able to program these extremely high probability bullish and bearish reversal points. And so what we have as a result now is a super high probability, straightforward buy and sell signals on the charts. It's absolutely beautiful, and I'm going to show you guys actually right now not only how it works, but I'll prove to you that it works. And I'll ask you guys to give me ticker symbols in just a second. Just to give you some historical examples before we go into the live market, for example, here in Tesla, you can see the red arrows, sell signals, market drops about 19%. Or here in this stock, we got a sell signal here, market dropped 13%, a buy signal a few days later, market rallied 15%, sell signal here, market dropped 15%. We're going to go into the live market in just a minute. Because I want to prove it to you that this is also working like right now. Or a sell signal here in this in Starbucks, right? Clear sell signal, buyer exhaustion, doesn't get any more clear. The stock drops 7%. In this stock here, beautiful buy signal, the market rallies 10%. Apple, I'm sure a lot of you guys have looked at Apple before. Classic buy signal, seller exhaustion, the stock rallies 5, 6, 7%. So what I would say is let's go to the live market. And if you guys would like to start typing in some tickers you want us to look at, then that would be really helpful. So we can go ahead and show you how this works. All right, so who wants to type in some ticker symbols that you want us to look at? All right, let's start off with Apple, okay? Let me bring this over here. 1 second. Apple here. All right, here's the chart of Apple. This is the latest chart. This is the latest signals we got. We got sell signals right here, follow through selling, and you can see the market then proceeded, the stock proceeded to drop about 16%. Buyer exhaustion. And yeah, again, ask yourself, do you think you could make money if you have a process that would constantly tell you when the market has reached extreme overbought readings where the last of the buyers bought, which basically happened here and it was confirmed on the 6th of May, and then all you do is the opposite? Do you think, who thinks they could make money with that? Apple, it dropped 60%. This is just a lot of you guys are typing in Apple. This is the latest signal. All right, more charts. UTX, and by the way, I'm not going to go with like esoteric tickers. So make sure if you want us to look at your ticker, make sure you please give us a stock that people actually know. So UTX is one that I'm seeing popping up here by Frank, and this is a stock that everyone knows. This is a sell signal we got on the 2nd of May, okay? And then we get a buy signal here, and the stock has since now rallied. Over the latest buy signal has rallied, I don't know, 3-4%. This just happened a few days ago, okay? So again, ask yourself if you could make money using these kind of signals. Again, all we're trying to do is look for the opposite, is where sellers reach extremities or buyers reach extremities. Amazon.com, sure. The latest signals in Amazon are here. Let me bring them over. Here is Amazon. We had a buy signal here on the 29th of March, another one here. Okay, these are the last two signals from Amazon. Okay, and you can see what the stock has done there after that. Tilray. Let's see, I haven't looked at this one in a while. This is Tilray. Isn't that a marijuana stock or something? Here's Tilray. Okay, again, I'm not making this up. These are live charts. You guys typed in Tilray, so you know. You ask, and here we go. Here we go. So here is a sell signal in March, and the stock since then has dropped 55%. We just got a buy signal yesterday. Again, I'm not making this up. These are live charts, guys. Ask yourself, do you think you could make money using an approach that will give you extreme overbought and oversold conditions when there's no more buyers left, you short, when there's no more sellers left, you buy? Who thinks they could make money with something like that? Great. All right. Yeah, and we're going to look at, and by the way, does anyone do intraday? Do you guys want to see this intraday as well? I'm happy to show you. S&P 500, sure. SPY. Here's the latest SPY chart. Let me bring it over. Hold on. SPY. We got a sell signal on the 2nd of May. Okay, and then we got another sell signal on the 20th of May. Since the first signal, the S&P then ultimately proceeded to drop about 6%. Again, ask yourself, do you think you could make money with that? Obviously, the answer is yes. Again, intraday. Anyone interested in intraday? Yes. Okay. All right. Let me show you intraday. Let's do. Who wants the intraday? Russell 2000 intraday. Okay, sure. Russell 2000. 1 second. Let me bring this. Like a 5-minute chart. Does that work? Yeah. Okay. Russell 2000 intraday. Let me bring it up. 1 second, guys. I have to change the chart. Here's the Russell 2000 intraday. This just a couple days ago. 5-minute chart. Sell signal here. Sell signal here. Sell signal here. Again, do you think you could make money using this kind of an approach? Does it work in a 1-minute chart? Yeah, sure. Let me change the time frame to a 1-minute chart. I'm just trying to, and that's a good question, Chris. 1-minute chart. This is the 1-minute chart from just yesterday. Does that work? Okay, this is yesterday morning. 1-minute chart on the Russell 2000. 1-minute chart. Sell signal here. Sell signal here, and then you get choppy. So you get buy signals. You know, you don't want to do this at the end of the day. You see this, Chris? All right. Awesome. Yeah, it works in other asset classes. That's not the issue, guys. I mean, I showed you in different time frames. Let me quickly see if I can show you. I'm gonna go. I just want to make sure we have some other tickers that everyone knows. Sure. Euro dollar. Here we go. Buy signal. Again, this is the recent chart. Like it's a live chart. Buy signal, sell signal, smallest sell signal, but no follow through selling, so not a valid one. Sell signal, and then a small buy signal. Again, ask yourself, do you think you can make money with that? How about another ticker that people are typing in that actually people know? Oh, Bed Bath & Beyond, sure. Here's the latest signal in Bed Bath & Beyond. Let me show you here. This is Bed Bath & Beyond. Sell signal here on the 1st of May. And the stock basically dropped vertically. Okay. Good, good, good. Let's see. Monster Beverage, MNST. I haven't seen this one in a while, but here we go. The last signal we had a Monster was here in March. Haven't had one since, but if you would have taken that one after confirmation, that stock dropped 17%. Do you think you can make money with this? Yep. Yeah, and you can use this in any time frame, like we showed. We showed you in 5-minute charts, 1-minute charts, daily charts. It'll work in weekly charts like a charm as well. That is absolutely true. Oh, bonds. Yeah. Who wants to look at bonds? I saw a few people asking bonds. TLT, TBT. Who wants to see those two? ETFs absolutely works like a charm. Here's bond, TLT. Bond market obviously has been a big thing of late, right? We got a buy signal here on the 1st of May on TLT. You guys see that little green arrow? The bond market then took off. The inverse of that would have been TBT, yields. All right, look at this. We got a sell signal in TBT, yields, and the bond market fell apart. The yields dropped like crazy. You guys see that? Who thinks they can make money with this? Give me a hell yeah. More ETFs, sure. Let's have a look at maybe industrials. I don't know, I'm just looking at XLI, sure. All right, here's XLI. Here's a buy signal we just got a few days ago. Beautiful bullish reversals. Sellers got exhausted a few days ago. Industrials popped. So far, about a 3% rally over the past few days. Excellent. Excellent. Getting some hell yes. How about more marijuana stocks? How about some big ones like STZ? And I'm just typing in tickers. STZ, that's Constellation Brands, right? They recently did some acquisitions in that space. A buy signal here, and we just got a buy signal a few days ago. So far, the stock is up 6%. Again, do you think you could make money using an approach that helps to find you when buyers are exhausted or sellers are exhausted, and you do the opposite? Who thinks they could make money with that? All right. Now, before we continue, I want to quickly show you something here in terms of how the scanner actually works. Because what I told myself is once we had this actually programmed, what we did is we went ahead and we turned this into a scanner. So what we're doing now is we have the scanner set up where basically, I used to honestly scan for this stuff for like two hours a day. Now it takes me, I wrote here 20 minutes. I don't think it takes me more than 5 minutes. Let me just quickly show you how that works. It's super simple. And literally all you do, we have 2 types of buy signals and 2 types of sell signals. They're all the same. And I literally click on them and I pull up the chart. So let me show you guys how this works right now. I have the 2 types of buy signals up here. Every day we get buy signals. You don't have to take them every day, of course, but you can take them whenever you have a time to do so. Buy signals, and these are the sell signals. So I'm going to drag my chart over here. You see how simple this is. I'm going to drag my chart over here. And all I'm going to do is look for opportunities. Let's look for bullish examples. So like, for example, I don't know, rare, whatever that is. All right. So we just got a buy signal yesterday. All right. We'd expect this stock to go quite a bit higher. Just yesterday. This is live. I'm not making this up. I'm not cherry picking. It's right there. All right, all you do is you click through these and you just, look for opportunities. It's just that simple, right? And you can see the previous ones. In this case, we had a sell signal up here. You see the last sell signal, follow through selling, and the stock dropped, and now we're getting a buy signal. Again, do you think you can make money with this? All right, perfect. Again, it's all about finding when the buyers are exhausted and the sellers are exhausted, and then just doing the opposite. It's really that simple. Bearish example, sure. ALXN, whatever that is. We just got a sell signal here in ALXN yesterday, and the expectation would be for the stock to go lower. So it's that simple. So literally, you have two types of buy setups, two types of selling setups. You click on them, and that's it. It's just that simple. Yes, so it works intraday. It works for swing trading. Works on weekly charts, daily charts. Works in currencies. It works on commodities. It works on stocks, ETFs. It's because what it does, it allows to help you find extremities in the market, extreme bullishness and extreme bearishness. Okay, now let me show you. You guys are asking how can I use this and what platform do I need? Let me show you. So the way this works is that you can get the ultimate candlestick bootcamp and the beat to reversal indicator all together. Let me explain to you how this works. So this is if you want to learn a real process and actually make money in the market for the first time, you can take this course and the indicator all at once. You're going to learn a low stress, high probability swing trading method, and it's going to allow you to nail reversals by correctly reading investor sentiment, right? Just like I said, so you take the opposite of investor emotions. And I can't tell you how important that is. It includes a 30-page course guide, and it's all usually sells for $500. We're going to sell it today. All this access just never goes away. You get to keep the indicator and everything, and there's a ton more for $197 one time. That's it. This is not a subscription. This is not a recurring payment. It's a one-time payment of $197. So all you have to do is go to thesteadytrader.com/summer, and that'll help you. Get this package for this price. Now, what else is included? We do live webinars all the time. I'm a big believer in ongoing education. So the next live webinar, and I think we've done one like every single month so far this year. The next live webinar is June 25th at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. These things are always recorded, where we do live scanning of the market, help you with any questions you have about the indicator and scanner, any questions in general. So definitely get geared up for that one. That's the next one. Again, if you get this right now, $197 one-time payment. It's not a recurring fee. It's not a subscription. It's just a one-time payment. You get to keep the indicator and the course, and I'll go through all this now. Again, you get the indicator, which means you're going to get the exact buy and sell signals flashing on your charts and the scanner as well. What does it work for? It works for a lot of the popular platforms. So it works, for example, for Thinkorswim. If you have Thinkorswim, TD Ameritrade, it'll work for that platform. It'll work for eSignal, TradeStation, NinjaTrader 7 and 8, and also TradingView.com, and also our very own Market Rover Pro platform. TradingView.com is entirely free, just so you guys know. So if you have access to that, you can install it there. Thinkorswim, you can open up a small account there and get it installed. So it's really all very very simple. It doesn't work for Tasty Trade because they don't allow us to program for that, but it works for all these. Now the course that's included is an evergreen video course. It's recorded, so it'll never go away. You always have access to it, just like the indicator. Do we get access to upgrades? Yes, of course. If we make tweaks to the indicator, absolutely yes. There's no upcharge to that. You can install it on multiple platforms as well, no doubt. The course itself is going to give you insight like you've never seen before on how to use the opposite of investor emotions. Simple buy and sell signals on your charts. It'll teach you all different variations of these types of setups. We'll teach you my rocket launch and gravity pull setups. There's an entire segment just on multi-time frame analysis, which is invaluable. confluence zones, using technical analysis and candlestick analysis. And of course, we'll teach you also how to use options with this. So in the live webinars, we talk a lot about how can you use options when you get one of these setups. Like for example, remember we just showed you this setup here in like Rare, whatever that stock was. I'll go back to that one in a second. We'll also teach you how to set up your stops, by the way, risk management trading, mental aspect of trading, and money management, and so much more. So this is all included. And again, it works for Thinkorswim, our Market Roll Pro dashboard, eSignal, TradeStation, NinjaTrader 7 and 8, as well as TradingView.com. So that's what it all works for. Options, yeah. Let me give you a couple words on options because this is really important. Now, you can make a lot of money using just the stocks or the currencies or whatever you're trading with this. But like, for example, let's go to an example in I don't know, just like a Tilray. This is one somebody looked at before, right? So you could have shorted the stock. You could have also bought some puts and made a gazillion dollars on this. This is the kind of stuff we also talk about in the live webinars. Does that make sense? How many signals do we get? Yeah, so you get signals every single day. It doesn't mean you have to take the signals. Absolutely not. It's nothing hectic. It works intraday. It works on 5-minute charts. It works on 15-minute charts. Sure. More examples. Yes, let's look at more examples. Let me quickly bring up the buy link because you guys are asking for the buy link. Yeah, again, this is a one-time fee. It's not a subscription. It's not a recurring fee. TheSteadyTrader.com/summer is what it is. How about, let me see some tickers you guys know that are being tapped in here. AAP, you guys know that one? That's Advanced Auto Parts. All right, here is AAP, just the latest signals. Let me bring it over. We had a sell signal here and a buy signal here. So the sell signal, 5% on the stock. You could have done options. And then the buy signal, that was another 5, 6, 7%. That's AAP. Let me see. Jerome wants to look at Lockheed Martin. Yeah, people know that stock. We just got a buy signal in Lockheed Martin here a few days ago. You can see that one. Starbucks, sure. Bring up Starbucks. Here's Starbucks from a couple days ago. So far, the stock is up 8%. Guys, do you think you could make money with this? If you would have just bought Starbucks a couple days ago, you would have paid for this 10 times over. Literally, with what you could have bought the stock, you could have bought a call or a call spread, and you would have knocked it out of the park. Who thinks they can make money with this? It's super high probability. It's simple. It's straightforward. No, not MT4. Does not work for MT4. Yeah. So what we do in the live webinars, guys, and that's a good question. So in the live webinars, what we do is we'll walk you through the markets. We'll walk you through live scanning of the market. We will walk you through how to use this with options, how to use the indicator precisely. I have a very simple option philosophy, and I don't think it's about making it overly complicated, but we talk about that in the bonus session. The next bonus session is let's see, what did we say? I think it was at June 25th is the next one. So if you sign up now, you'll get access to that one. And again, I think we've done one literally every single month this year. We usually do them like every other month or so. So June 25th at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific is when the next one is. Let me see. What other questions do I have here? Yes, it works intraday. We showed you that just before on the Russell 2000, I think, right? It's not a recurring payment. It's just a one-time thing. It's $197. You get to keep the course and of course the indicator, which like we said, it works for multiple platforms. Those platforms again are our Market Roller Pro, Thinkorswim, eSignal, TradeStation, NinjaTrader, as well as TradingView.com. Now, if you don't have any of these brokers, TradingView.com is actually a free platform. If you want to use that, then you can once you purchase the indicator, you can install it there as well. And it's very simple. Let me show you guys this again because I see some people asking about that. Go in here. Yeah, exactly. So if you already own this course, yeah, sure, you can join the webinars. You always get access to these webinars. There's no that's the whole point. It's kind of a recurring education as well. The scanner, sure, I'll show you that again. So the scanner, the way it works, it's super simple. You have two types of buy signals, right, and two types of sell signals. So that's literally all I do in the morning. I come in, I bring up the chart, I click on again, just use the same example, rare. In this case, the buy signal from yesterday. We had a sell signal here. Now we're getting a buy signal. Do you think you can make money with this? Ask yourself that. I'm literally just taking your tickers, I'm typing them in here, and you can see the results. And again, it's because it's process oriented. We're not just randomly clicking around the market. We're looking for high probability situations where buyers are exhausted or sellers are exhausted. And then we simply do the opposite. That's what a lot of high probability trading and investing is really all about. Let's see here. Let me see. I'm going to look at some of your questions. I don't have it on tradingview.com right now, so I can't show you that. Right now I only have Thinkorswim loaded. Yes, of course. So once you sign up for this, you will get access to the website right away. There is going to be a link to where to download and install the indicator. Very, very simple. There's videos how to install that. It's really, we make it super simple for our clients. I don't believe in making it complicated. The webinar, yes, you will receive an email to register for that at least a few days before. So don't worry about it. If you want to get the past webinars sent to you, once you purchase this, of course, we will always do that. You can send an email to my support staff. That's support@thestudytrader.com. If you, let me quickly show you guys this. Some people are asking, what does it look like once I'm in the members area? So it's very simple. Once you get the login, all you click on is indicators, and you click on B2 reversal. And once you're in there, you then just click, you basically choose your platform. Let's say it's TradeStation, you get the indicator. There's also an installation guide, or for let's say Thinkorswim, there's a video installation, and so on and so forth. And then you just install it. I also have a support team that will help you, so no problem there. Again, the point of the live webinars, guys, is to show you exactly how the indicator works. So what I would urge you to do, if you're getting this right now, and I see a whole lot of you guys are, what I would urge you to do is watch the video course. Okay, take a few days, take a couple of weeks, no rush. Install the indicator if you'd like, but we're going to teach you exactly how to use the indicator in great detail in the next live webinar. Now, again, if you want to get the last webinar sent to you, which we just did, I think like last couple of weeks, something like that, we'll send you that as well if you don't want to wait until this one. But don't freak out about the indicator. We'll trust me. We will hold you hands to make this work. All right. Yes, excellent. Well, listen, guys, I'm very happy you guys are coming on board. Yeah, this is just a one-time payment. It's not a recurring fee. It's not a subscription. It's $197 one time. TheStudyTrader.com/summer. If you guys enjoyed this, and I suspect a lot of you did because I see a lot of positive commentary, then we would love to welcome you here. Again, the next live webinar will be June 25th. And in the meantime, what I would suggest you join this now, watch the course, which is important. Then again, don't freak out over it. Take your time, install the indicator if you'd like. Otherwise, wait until June 25th. Or again, you can obviously get the past recordings, and then we'll walk you through it step by step how to use the indicator precisely. But of course, you can already start doing it. It's not a problem at all. Absolutely. Until midnight, Mark. Until midnight, Mark. It's a one-time 197, TheStudyTrader.com/summer. With that, guys, I want to thank you very much. Have a great rest of the weekend. I'm going to pass it back to Jeanette, and have a great weekend.